Hypothetical no-kill animal shelter, which means rather than actually building the shelter, I'm just going through the planning process. No-kill animal shelters are animal shelters where they don't euthanize the animals. If the animal does not get adopted, they have a home for life at that particular animal shelter, and they'll feed and take care of the animal until they can place them. In your junior year, you start thinking about the project ideas that you want to do, because you have to propose it as soon as your senior year starts. But last spring, I had no idea whatsoever what I wanted to do because my interests were so scattered everywhere. And for spring break, we took a trip to Utah, to Kanab, Utah. Best Friends Animal Sanctuary is the nation's largest no-kill animal sanctuary. And we just spent the week down there volunteering for spring break. And that had a huge impact on me. So I decided, okay, let's try this and see if we can plan something. The way the project process works here is you write the proposal and you find a community member. So my community member is actually my mom's mentor for Tellington Touch, which is a form of animal massage therapy, kind of. And they're both practitioners. So on your committee you have your community expert, your homeroom advisor, your parents. You have a junior so that your junior can learn how to do the process for themselves next year. And then you have another advisor somewhere in the school. So I have the biology teacher as my secondary advisor. And then you sit down and you have about half an hour to 45-minute meeting saying, this is what I want to do, this is why I want to do it, this is how I'm going to do it, this is what I'm going to have at the end, kind of stuff. So I did a plan for funding for the project. I looked at different types of grants I could get. I did a plan for what I was going to feed the animals. I've done plans on the different types of jobs that an animal shelter needs, the types of resources it needs. So like we need CGI machines for cats if they need x-rays, we need all kinds of crazy stuff. It had pretty much everything in it. It was mostly the biology of animals and what they can and cannot eat and what will make them sick. Things like how they heal their injuries, the muscle structure of horses, because a major injury for horses is that their knees give out, and so what kind of therapy do they need for that? Social aspect in that no-kill animal shelters are a really huge thing these days. They're starting to become more mainstream. Cities are changing so that they don't have the euthanizing of animals. Neutering in Spain has become a huge campaign. It was major, driving around in vans a couple of years ago, as well as art because of the computer imaging and the computer graphics and the designing of everything, handwritten sketches. Architecture is involved a little bit, English mainly because of the papers.
What about math?
Math is involved in that I have 80 square acres that I have to somehow space out and still have some space for farmland so that we can make some sort of income for ourselves other than donations. You have to consider what layout's gonna give you the most amount of space for each animal, how much space the animal needs, how many animals you're gonna have. Definitely the research skills I've acquired at Avalon over the last 3 years. I've been taught how to not just look at internet sites, not just rely on what I can find within a couple clicks on the computer, like most high school students seem to do. But to take what I find on the internet and then just run with it and go get books in the library, access archives in different places, that kind of research, and then taking the books and actually looking for the important information and then organizing notes. Definitely the whole planning thing and the whole project process of saying, okay, this is what we have to work with, this is where it needs to go, and figuring out how to put that into practice and just saying point A to point B, how are we getting there. Time management has been a huge thing. My first year here I was not so great with the deadline because I was so used to more of a structured system, but after a while it was just totally getting the hang of it. Computer imaging has been a huge skill that I'm still working on mastering. I have a couple different software programs that I'm just tinkering with at the moment, trying to figure out how to mess with, this is the landscape layout I want, this is how I want each of these buildings to look, that kind of thing. It's definitely been a good experience coming from a traditional, very structured middle school to this free area where you can learn a lot more however you best learn. I'm very much a visual learner rather than sit and listen to lectures and take notes off of whatever they write on the boards. So doing art stuff like this has been a huge, huge, huge change in the way I learn. It's definitely a lot more college prep in that you're in charge of your own deadlines. You aren't always in class. It's been a good experience. And